guys, we're starting a new project. So a little while ago, my husband gave me the idea to make a fountain. So I got this pump on Amazon for like $11. And we're gonna try to make a fountain out of it. I have the idea in my head to use minis and make it so I can change the top. So I'll have one good hero figure that I can put on there and one kind of sinister evil cult fountain figure that I can throw up there, and I want to be able to have interchangeable tops. That sounds cool to me. I'm going to try to get the base of what I want drawn out on my grid paper, wrapping paper here. There we go. So we ignore that out there. We're going to have this vaguely flowered shape fountain base. And that's what we'll start with. I like it now that I can see it drawn out. And to do this, I am going to start with solid pieces of foam. And I'm going to cut out two circles like this and just one square. That's what we're going to start with. I think I'm going to have some outside to this. So they're probably going to have to be double tall. No, yes, no, maybe. Let's cut out some shapes. Awesome, you guys. These are all even enough. So here is the sweet shape of the fountain. It's definitely not done because, well, fountains are hollow, and this is all solid at the moment. So I'll need to cut into all of these, but we're getting somewhere. Now I just gotta decide if I want to hack at it to hollow it out, or not. Not sure yet. I'm not there. All right, let's give it a minute. I'm gonna put this away. We're gonna figure out how we're gonna put this together and hollow it out. Okay, I'm slowly deciding what I'm doing. So the fountain is gonna be on a square platform. It's not gonna be this thick. I'm gonna cut it down a little thinner. It'll act as like a step up to it. And then we'll have the base ground. So I'm going to, we're gonna use this block. I'm gonna square it off. Let's see. These guys, yeah, like that. But so far it's too tall, so I want it to be, how thick? Can I, oh crap. Can't cut through that. It's too short. Found a flaw. Okay. How long is this then? We're just gonna have to do it in half. There'll be a split in this, and that'll be okay because it's made out of stone. Let me find, I think I'm gonna find my knives, and I'm gonna cut out these circle bits. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do these by hand because I don't trust myself to get the right curve on the hot wire cutter. I'm sure somebody else could, but by hand is gonna be better for me. Okay, so I've been cutting out the half circles. Pretty rough. That's okay, because I'm gonna take a file and some sandpaper and clean them up. I've already got these a little better. Nicer than before, nicer than this looks. I'm not going for perfect, just trying to smooth them out a bit. Keep them all looking similar. I'll go around all of them later, I think, and just smooth them down so none of the edges are so hard. They definitely look pretty rough inside when I cut them by hand. not great at doing that, but that's a little better. It'll work for what we need. So now I know that this block's 100 and these are 50. So if I get my thing out to measure it, I go at 25 and 75. We'll get these glued on to the right places. And I think I'm going to glue them on first. That'll work out better for me so that I know where to cut for the square. Then I can cut that out and we'll sand it too. Perfect. We're getting close. Doesn't that look cool now? I like it. It's pretty at the moment. Okay, we've got this hollowed out, and this section here is going to be the last piece to the base of our fountain. And I know that I need the water pump to sit in there, and I want a little bit more depth, and we want to hide the cord. So I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces so that we can hollow out part of it, still have a base, and we'll cut a channel for the cord to come out. Okay, this has been cut. Now we're ready. I had to cut them in half again just to make it fit with what I have with the hot wire cutter. That's okay. Okay, we got this cut out. We got a base so the water doesn't fall out once we stick it together. So I'm going to have to make a channel for the wire. We're going to have to figure out how to cover it later, but I'm thinking if I just cut a channel through here, I can close it right on there. That'll work. I'll have this bit on top, and then we'll put a statue thing over. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so right now I'm gonna do some cleanup in here, clean up on that so it fits, and we're gonna start getting the stone down after that. I think I want to look like cobblestone, stone dungeon floor, cobblestone street, whatever, so I can use it in different places. So now we got this stonework down. So on top of that, this one will be more of a cut stone brick-like look. So we're gonna hand do those since it's already all glued together. Okay, so we've got it together. This is how it's gonna sit. We've got our escape for the cord down here. But I don't want to glue it all together yet because I still need to be able to get to this so I can make the platform that goes around it and hides everything. So we're going to make that first before gluing it in. All right, so I've got this super cool Colt guy. I printed out this. It's a little bit more rough on the back than the front, but he's got this cool statue texture already going on where he's got cracks in the stone. And then a pillar for him to stand on, which I have hollowed out through the center and then 4 holes on the side so that he can stand on there. We'll line him up. We can line it up correctly and water will shoot out to each of our circular bits there. So now we just have to finish off the base of it that it's going to stand on and hide our water pump, and it doesn't look great yet. There we go. That's looking pretty cool. All right, I'll have to get more stuff. I'll have to make the running water work, and I'm going to need to seal all of this together. I think it'll be a little easier to get it painted while it's in separate pieces. So I'll get it primed up in the black at least first. Then we'll put it together. We'll get some epoxy to help us out. going back and forth. I don't know what the epoxy is going to look like over it. I only want it on the inside, but I'm going to have to fill all of these cracks. And I don't know if I'll be able to paint over the epoxy well. So I think I might need to get everything painted first and then pour an epoxy over that. So I've built a new structure that's still trying to dry. I didn't like the last one, so we're going with this new look. To go around the pump, and while that dries, I'm going to start painting the rest of this up. So we're going to start, I mixed some light tan and grays together. We're just going to go for it. Alright, we got the first coat of paint on, some 2 coats in places. Now I'm going to start adding some washes. As always, we're just going to stack up colors, washes, whatever, until I'm done with it and feel good. Our paint is all dry now. So next we're going to have to work on putting it all together, and then we'll get it sealed up and waterproof. So I'm going to do one side at a time here. I'm going to get this down, and then we're going to put our pump in, and then we'll go to the other side. But for now, we're just going to hot glue it down. And that is down. Awesome. So because we're going to have to put epoxy under this to make the bottom, of course, waterproofed, I want this to really be able to slide for now. So there's that, and I've got clear silicone that we're going to trace around the edges. So let's get our seal down. Get any hot glue strands out of the way. Here we go. All right, our silicone is dry enough. So now we're gonna move on to the epoxy. And I found this at Walmart with just the other glue and silicone and stuff. So it's just 1-in-1 part. So I'm gonna mix some up, and it sets in 5 minutes. So I don't need a ton. First off, we're just gonna cover the bottom. Okay, so far it looks like we have the whole bottom covered. All right, so we're gonna let this dry and then do the same to all the edges. And then we'll come back when all of that is on and see how it's going. We let all of the epoxy dry overnight. Got the pump in, got the stand. It's time to test it. It's time to see if this will hold water or if we're gonna have a leak somewhere. So let's give this a go. Of course, I'm gonna spill a bit onto the outside. So far, so good. Oh shit, we did it. Should have got something better to pour from. Now I'm never gonna tell if we had a spill or not, a leak, but so far we're not leaking from the cord. All right, let's dry out the outside real quick. Okay, so as I dried it out, I keep getting more and more. So I think we're definitely leaking through this line. Somewhere in here, in the center section, is leaking. So we're gonna dump the water out and try to find our hole. And make a big mess. It might be through the cord hole. That's my guess. But we're gonna look at it. I'm gonna find what's leaking, where we've missed a spot. Take 2 at sealing this up. Okay, so I added more silicone. I think we've plugged up the holes. Move this guy off for now. He's not all the way on yet. But I do want to add some moss in here. So I've got a grass blend, and I'm going to put some silicone on it, put some of our flocking for moss down, and then we're going to put epoxy over it to really seal it in again. You guys, we've made it here to the very final touches. And what I have to say, I'm not really sure that this project is worth it. I'm happy with it and I like it, but it's not a terribly practical build. I'm mostly sure that all the leaking is taken care of, but it could very easily start leaking again at any time. So do be aware of that. I don't really suggest this project to anybody, but it's still kind of cool. So we're gonna go in. It's a little too dim. I want a little color in there. We're gonna add a little bit more of this moss into the deep cracks of our stones, just kind of here and there's where we know it would splash down, water would start to run. And then we'll get a final spray of just a matte spray paint over the other outsides here. But yeah, that's it. We've got a fountain. It runs, it holds water now. It's not bad. It was a pain. It really was. I am pretty pleased with it. And I already have a great idea. So the next thing that I'm gonna make is gonna be a hedge maze. That sounds really fun. And then I can put this cool looking fountain in the center of the hedge maze. Yeah, so I ended up putting some little feet on this guy. Again, this project was a little ambitious, a little dumb, and a little bit of a mess. Some of the water kind of does shoot out of the fountain. I think my pump's a little stronger than what I really need, but he looks cool. Seems to have settled out. I don't know what this water pump does sometimes. It does its own thing. Makes a great big mess. So next time, I definitely need to get a different pump that just tones itself down a little bit. But one more thing before we turn them off, because we've got this cool creepy cold guy. All right, here we go. We might ruin the whole thing. I don't know if food coloring is going to stain in there, but I really want to see it. Oh, yes. Oh, now I have a blood fountain. So far, I think there's enough epoxy and stuff down there to keep it from staining. Because that's cool. Now I wish I had, like, piped something up so it could come, like, from his head and just drain down. Oh, well, we did it. I've got a giant mess of a crazy fountain full of this awesome Colt Dude and blood. So I'm happy with it. Just don't put this on a table to play with. You'll ruin everything else. Thank you guys for coming along for this slight catastrophe. Again, don't make a fountain out of foam. Make it out of something different. But this was cool. Thanks for coming along. And we'll build something slightly more functional next time. Okay, bonus note here. Once I took the water back out, the red totally did stain some of this. But all the spray painted parts were totally fine. Just so you know.